You Only Move Twice is a pretty enjoyable episode of The Simpsons. This is the second episode of the 8th season. It aired originally in January 1997 and is directed by Mike B. Anderson. Now, I like this, but it's not one of my favourites, but it certainly seems to be very popular. It's got an incredible 9.2 out of 10 on IMDb across just shy of 6,000 reviews and ratings, so it definitely seems to be very well received. And to be honest, I can understand why. We have some great characters, it addresses some pretty interesting concepts, and because it's a change of location, it's quite fresh, it's a little bit different. And while The Simpsons works, because we have the familiarity of Springfield and the home and the regular characters, breaking that mold every now and then keeps things exciting. And in this episode, Homer gets offered a job. He has to move to Cypress Creek, and everybody who works at this company, lives in Cypress Creek, and the house seems to be perfect. And to begin with, everything seems to be going right. But very quickly, at least for Marge and Bart and Lisa and I guess Maggie, things are a little bit too perfect, or for Lisa's case, too triggering of her allergies. Marge's home cleans itself, so she has nothing to do. Bart's schooling is not what he expected, and they're not really enjoying things. Homer, on the other hand, is certainly having a very interesting time in his new role that's not too dissimilar from his old job insofar as he doesn't seem to have very much to do, because he is the one who is motivating other people, as he was giving this motivational speech, and kind of that's how he got the job, as seeing somebody who would be really great at providing motivation to the employees at this company. And basically he's being a supervisor, and he seems to be relatively good at it to begin with. Things seem to be going well. Hank Scorpio, his new boss, who's voiced by Albert Brooks, is a very interesting character. He turns up at their house with a gift basket while he's in the middle of a run, I think it was a fun run, and he seems to be quite likable. But very quickly, things start to change, and Homer stumbles upon a secret in the company that suggests that maybe not everything is above board, and there are a lot of things that are questionable. Is he a villain? Is Hank Scorpio a villain? Well, he definitely seems to have very questionable motives, very questionable activities. Quite interestingly, I read in the trivia on IMDb that Hank Scorpio, based on IMDb, was potentially going to return as the villain of the Simpsons movie, but apparently the creators decided he was too likable to be a full-blown villain. I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I like the character, but, I like a lot of villains, because of how they're constructed and how they're delivered. But I don't know if I think he's too likable to become a full-blown villain. I kind of get what they're saying. He does actually have quite pleasing personality traits, but and I guess that's why it's quite surprising for him to have a much darker side. And I think it works very well. He's a very interesting character. I think it was important that they got that character right, otherwise the narrative may not have been as effective. I definitely think they did a good job, and the way Cypress Creek treated the rest of the family was certainly very interesting. And it left Homer with a lot of decisions to be made. And I won't say if you made the right decisions or not, but if you've seen any episode of The Simpsons that happens after this, I'm sure you can work out what happens. I like it a lot. I don't love it as much as some people seem to, but there's no reason for that. There's nothing specific about it that I think didn't work or that I think should have been done differently. It's just not a personal favourite. Having said that, You Only Move Twice is still a really good episode, and definitely one that I'd be happy to watch multiple times over.